Today here, we're proud to announce that this is the first step forward in getting justice for Harrison Boonstoppel. This evening, I'm joined by Harrison Boonstoppel's family and our state attorney. Harrison was one of the lives senselessly taken on October 29th this year. Today, exactly 1 month and 1 week later, that we're able to announce new charges against 14-year-old Kayden Abney in relation to the death of their son. And when I tell you it's because of the tireless work of our detectives, I truly do mean that. And putting themselves in the shoes of the footsteps of the family has just been a motivating factor for them to work day in and day and night with the state attorney and able to get to the point of where we're at today. We'd like to thank the outpouring support of the community as well as our partners in this investigation. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, Pasco County Sheriff's Office, ATF, FBI, FDLE, U.S. Marshals for assisting us throughout this investigation. Kayden Abney, 14-year-old, today has been charged with second-degree murder with a firearm of Harrison Boonstoppel, attempted aggravated battery, and attempted murder. His previous charges were carrying concealed firearm and minor in possession of a firearm while wearing a mask 18 days after the incident. As you all recall, Tyrell Phillips was charged with second-degree murder of a 14-year-old victim and taken into custody within hours of the incident. So I can tell you, while this arrest is a huge and significant development in this case, our work is not done. We will continue to hold those accountable for any act of violence in this incident and any other incident in the city of Tampa. What happened here is unacceptable, and our community has come forward, our law enforcement agencies, all together to hold all of those responsible. We're still looking for additional shooters. We still encourage the community to submit tips to the FBI portal or Crime Stoppers. And I can tell you from all of our detectives, all of the people that we've been working with, that our thoughts remain with the victims and the community that were directly or indirectly affected by this tragedy. Our detectives will continue to work with the state attorney's office to bring justice for these families. The families asked not to speak today, but I would like to bring up State Attorney Suzy Lopez for a few remarks from her.
Thank you, Chief. Last month, I was at a gun violence awareness walk just after the Ybor City shootings. It was there where I met Harrison Boonstoppel's family. At that time, they did not know who killed their son, and I can't imagine the pain that they've had to go through searching for answers. This arrest tonight brings us one step closer to justice for Harrison and for his family. This defendant is a perfect example of why we must take a strong stance against juvenile gun violence in our community. He is no stranger to the juvenile justice system, but he will no longer be treated as a juvenile. When you shoot and kill an innocent person, your age does not matter. As the chief said, this defendant will be charged with second-degree murder with a firearm for this senseless crime, and he will be charged as an adult. I want to send a message to juveniles in our community. If you choose to shoot another person, you will be held accountable. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. If you murder an innocent person in Hillsborough County, you will be held accountable for your crime. It's not easy charging a juvenile as an adult. It's the last thing as prosecutors that we want to do. But it is our job and the job of the Tampa Police Department to keep this community safe. And this defendant is clearly a danger to this community. I want to thank the Tampa Police Department for their relentless pursuit to find the individuals responsible for these senseless shootings. Thank you.
So, just to close, this is the first step in getting justice for Harrison Boonstoppel and his family. And like the state attorney said, if you're a juvenile and you're thinking about carrying a gun, you better think twice, because you're going to get caught and you're going to get charges filed. It's unacceptable and we will not tolerate it. And this is just a clear example of the full force of the city of Tampa and our assisting agencies in taking on this endeavor. Any questions?
How can we keep people behind bars if this guy's got a longer list of things? I get the age thing, but again, here we go again. It's that cycle of letting these people back out onto the streets. I mean, endless times. How many chances do they get?
So, Abney was set to get out today, and we were able to add these charges before he could get out. So it's a work of the detectives in the state attorney's office. Specifically, I'd like to give a shout out to Detective Kennedy and Assistant State Attorney Justin Diaz for making that happen today so he couldn't get out.
Chief, if I could follow up with that. This, as I said, this is not his first brush with the law. He has 11 pending juvenile cases, ranging from aggravated assault, battery, grand theft of a motor vehicle, and 6 robberies. He was 13 years old and younger when he committed these offenses, and so therefore he stayed in juvenile court as a result of his age. We are, of course, required to follow the law. He will be charged as an adult and will be held responsible as an adult for the events in Ybor City on October 29th.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the investigation that led to these charges today?
Sure. So, Abney was seen in video shooting that direction with 4 muzzle flashes coming out of his gun, having a 9mm and 9mm casings were found in this vicinity, and a 9mm was the weapon used to shoot at Boonstoppel. So that's enough evidence, and with our ID, to file on these charges. And I'll tell you, that wouldn't help without the community coming forward and providing tips. I was up here for the last month asking for tips. We received those tips, and those tips helped us get to this point. So we thank the community for their overwhelming support and the hard work of our detectives and state attorney's office.
And I know that you've chosen not to speak today, but Chief, can I ask you, working closely with a family on a case like this, to be able to bring them justice in this way, and how does
It's exactly what motivates the detectives and everybody to work so hard, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The family is their motivating factor.
Obviously, this tragedy on Ybor City has changed a lot of things around. We saw that you guys have increased the patrol over there. We have been seeing some changes over there. Do you think that those changes are making the citizens more safe, that for parents like this, like they make sure that their sons can go to Ybor City to have some fun?
To see today the criminal justice system working and holding those accountable for what happened, that's clearly a positive step forward.
Can you give any updates on how many shooters that night? Are you still looking for 7 persons of interest in that surveillance video?
We're looking for additional shooters in this case. That number depends on other witnesses and what they have to say. So we're looking for any tips on anybody might have, but we do believe that there were additional shooters out.
I just wanted to say that with everything going on and the magnificent work that they've done, here's another horrible point of it, is that he was shot with 1 bullet that went through his leg, and that bullet, I guess, when it hits the ground or goes through the bone, but the bullet that killed my son went through all his organs up into his heart, put a big hole in his heart, and the bullet was intact. So there we go. Now we have something for them to connect because of the horrible way that my son died. And I just want to say that he's just such a beautiful kid. And I have been the mother of mothers, watching over him my whole life. And this is just senseless, and we have to do something as a community to make it better for everybody. And I plan on doing that. I'm going to put out things for my son, Harrison Boonstoppel, and they're not going to be about that, get the gun people, get this people. This is about treating everybody well and helping our community. It's lost it. There's nothing. We have to come back and we have to do a part. It can be any part. It can be helping the families after these things. It can be helping Cancer Society with children. It can be helping kids in school with bullying. I mean, I teach dance for 38 years and I see it. This is not the environment that our kids should have, much less having the chance that they could die on the streets of Tampa. It's got to be, and I reach out to everybody, please, with all of us, we can make a difference. We can do something. I know people feel defeated about how everything's gone, but this is about guns, but it's about, why are these kids out there with guns? You know, it's not just that they were born as the mean guys. These guys are mean because they stole my son, but I'm just saying, you know, what are we doing for our community? We've got to, and that's the only thing that can make me sit here and talk to you, because if not, I'm crying about my son. This is the perfect reason, and this is how I want his name to be remembered, that with kindness and empathy and caring, we can make a difference. And it's all because of my beautiful son setting the example, and I'm following it.
Was justice today?
But
Is there justice today?
yes, I'm happy about that, but you know, again, there's got to be changes, and I'm talking about communities here. We can do something. We don't have to say, yeah, this is how it is, because I do not believe it. We've got to change it. And again, it's because my son was just such a beautiful soul and just overcame so many things. And he had a happy, happy life, even with the little things that you've put in the stories about him having problems at birth and growing up with all sorts of things. He was happy, and he loved life, and we're going to make that for everybody, that everybody can make that choice and make a difference. And that's the most important message I have.